Hello people, welcome to this new class in where we are gonna start opening a new file. We are in the welcome page already. We hit new file. This new window is opened. It is called new document. And then here in the app bar, we can read recent, save, print, web, and mobile. Now recent is already hit, and then we can check that here we have like the thumbnails of two different documents. One called default and this kind of luxury magazine layout template. Okay, let's jump to the next label, saved. We find exactly the same. We will understand everything very soon, but right now let's continue jumping and jumping. Print. Under print, we find blank document presets, 11. And then we have the letter document, legal, tabloid, letter half with the proper dimensions in each case. Below this, we have more templates, 40. Remember that we are right now under the print label. So the thing is that InDesign is offering us here templates of mainly different magazines. This one is already downloaded by me before, and that is the reason because it appeared when we clicked before saved. So maybe this is an option for you. I mean to use one of these magazine templates offering for free by InDesign. For example, let's click this magazine cover layout related with traveling. One click on here. In the right side, we can check the template details, A4 size, 2 layout options, CMYK, etc. etc. It is free, the size is just 1.1 megabyte. We can see a preview and we can download it. So click on download and after a few seconds we can even open it. We have the template in InDesign of that magazine cover, and of course we can play with it. We can change the titles, the images, or whatever we need. I just wanted to show you how to use those templates. I don't want to save the changes, so no. And again, new file. Now we can check that we have another template in our recent screen. Let's jump to saved, exactly the same, print. We know already how to use these different options. If we move to web, it's gonna be the same. But the templates obviously are thought according to the web wall, and it happens the same if we move to this last option called mobile. So once we have analyzed this left side of the screen, let's do the same with this right side of the screen. Here is where we can customize our document. Left side for presets and templates, and right side for customizing our document. Preset details, and then we have many different options. First of all, the title, and then on the right side we have this icon which means save document preset. We'll use it in a moment, but let's continue going down first. We have the title, and then we have the width and the height of that new document. This width and this height right now are in pixels, but if we expand this tray, we find points, pixels, inches, millimeters, centimeters, ciceros, agates, and pixels. Normally, we will work in inches, millimeters, or centimeters, depending on your country, depending on your client, depending on your taste. Many people use pixels as well, mainly when we are working in a digital format as webs, mobiles, iPads, or something like this. For this first example, I will choose centimeters. I will change these measurements, and here let's text down 15 centimeters and 23 centimeters high. These are the normal measurements for some kind of book covers that I use to design. Then we have orientation. We can use either portrait or landscape. Number of pages that we want to create from the beginning. This option is very interesting. Facing pages. We will mark it when we want the pages side by side, like in a book. Next option, start. To be honest, this option is not very useful, but let's see how it works. In case that we have more than one page, for example, let's say 5, thanks to start, the counting of our pages will start from the number that we introduce right here, right now. Let's say start at 3. Later on, when we create the document, we will check all of these settings and then we will understand it better. On the right side, we find primary text frame. We can turn on this box to include a text frame in every page. That text frame will be adjusted to the margins of our page. So let's turn on this option to check it later, and let's jump to the next option called columns. We can create columns from here in our document. Let's do it. 3 columns, and the gather will be 0.4233 centimeters. We can say 0.5. The column gather is the distance between columns. Then we have the margins. These margins will work as guides for us, just to help us to design better. I will make a little change here, 2 centimeters. We can use this chain to make all the settings the same. Next option, bleed and slack. Normally I use 0.3 centimeters bleed around all the paper. I check that the chain is on. Then I click on this another box and all the bleeds are already the same. And finally we have the slack. I will put here, for example, 4 centimeters. I will click on the chain and pay attention here because on the bottom of these settings we have this preview box. So if we move the window, then we can check the settings that we have been working on. We cannot open the panels on the right side, but we can check the paper, right? We can see the different columns, we can see the bleed, we can see the slack, we can see the margins. So if you are working with a big screen or even 2 screens, I think that this possibility of the preview can be very handy. Well, time to say create. Here we are. So let's check all our settings. This blue line is the slack. Then we have the bleed in red, 0.3 centimeters distance from the margins of the paper. Then we have the margins, top, bottom, left and right. We set 2 centimeters distance again to the margins of the paper, but this time from the interior of the paper, not from outside. And then we have 3 columns and the gather is 0.5, right? All clear here. Let's go to this panel called pages, because here I want you to understand that option called start. We created 5 pages, if you remember. Here we can count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, but the counting of those pages are starting at 3. That is because we marked on that box called start number 3. Furthermore, if I go back to my paper, 1 click inside the margins, then I select what was called before in the settings primary text frame. Remember that we turned on that box, and then if we move to any page and I click in any point inside the margins, I will select this text frame which is ready to introduce text. That is the goal of this text frame. I can move to another page, I click on here and again the text frame selected. So to finish this lesson, I would like just to add one thing more. So if I go to File, New Document, then I am again in this new document window, and as you can see on the right side, all of our preset details have been lost, right? Actually not all, because we have here still the pages and the start, but the units and so on are lost. So how can I do it if I wanna save my preset details? The answer is I have to use this icon, Save Document Preset. So rapidly now I will change the units. Centimeters, 1523 is okay. Pages, 1, start, 1. I don't want facing pages. I don't want primary text frame. I don't want 3 columns, just 1. Margins, 2 is okay. Bleed is okay. And I don't need slack. Imagine that these presets are interesting for me because I work with them so often. Then I want to save them. I go to this icon, Save Document Preset, and click on here. It's going to ask me about the name. I will call it History Cover, or better said, History Front Cover, and click on Save Preset. In this very moment, on the left side, in this category called Saved, we have another preset called History Front Cover, ready to be used when we open a new document. And in case that you are wondering right now why again here we have picas, I will ask this in the next class, in where we will see how to use the preferences. Goodbye and see you on the next class.